make him an offer he can't refuse.
Well, now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You think you can thank me? Give me a fucking army, you're gonna thank me!
You shit-kicking, stinky horse-smelling motherfucker, you!
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Say hello to my little friend!
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Eternal Midnight, and we have reached the finale of 2020. December is here, and we have been to the MCU, the Wizarding World, the galaxy far, far away, the DC Universe, the Conjuring Universe, Camp Crystal Lake, the Laurie Strode Street, Training I forgot the name.
Haddonfield.
Haddonfield, there you go. And now we've arrived at the finale, Christmas and Crime, with our very first entry in this month, Home Alone and Home Alone 2. So, Chad, what did you think of the first Home Alone?
The first Home Alone is just, it just screams Christmas classic. Like, it's one of those like, I know some people who haven't seen Miracle on 34th Street, It's a Wonderful Life, Claus, Bad Santa, tons of Christmas movies, Ernest Saves Christmas, but I don't know anyone who hasn't seen the first Home Alone. Like, I really don't, and I don't think I even know anyone like who doesn't like it. Like, it is just a Christmas classic all around. And probably my biggest memory of it will always be my mom kept it in, like, my mom had this big box of like Christmas VHS tapes. Yeah, that shows how old I am. And she kept it in there year round, and we could only watch it at Christmas time. So it was always like a big deal. Like, Christmas is here, we get to watch Home Alone. Even though growing up, just the household I was in, my parents, like, we weren't really like allowed to swear. Like, we would get like to the point where we'd get in trouble if we like told each other to like shut up or something. And so my parents, they didn't really like Home Alone because they're like, you know, oh, they tell each other to shut up and they swear at each other all the time. Like, oh, look, it's teaching you guys to do that. But what were they going to do? They weren't going to stop us from watching it. So it's a Christmas classic, and it's got so many great memories for me.
For me, like, the first Home Alone, I remember watching it during Christmas time, during holiday season. And I remember just like liking the story. I mean, it is a Christmas classic. I remember watching it, and my mom was like, "You haven't seen the first Home Alone movie? Then what are you talking about? Let's get to it right now. Let's watch the first Home Alone movie." And like, sure, why not? I mean, let's go. I mean, and I remember watching the first Home Alone with my cousins, and I remember it's like feeling the magic. You know, it was snowing, and you know, Kevin was like doing groceries. He stole, which is weird.
Steals a toothbrush. Yeah, wouldn't you have ran away if a creepy old man walked up and stared you down like he did?
Yeah, I mean, it has heart for sure. I mean, like,
tons.
We that my favorite scene in the movie will, besides the traps, will always be that scene where Kevin goes to church and he sees the scary guy, and for the first time, instead of running away, he actually allows the guy to sit with him, and he's like, so what are you? I mean, like I know there's a lot of rumors, and like, but they're not true. And you know, we first see like, oh, underneath there's a nice dude, and then that's a nice lesson to kids, like, you know, just because he looks like, you know, he's a scary person doesn't mean he is a scary person, which is nice. And I also really like what Kevin does. I mean, like, this movie really plays into the fantasy of being home alone. I mean, like, you are left in the house with cash and power and no supervision. I mean, that's what back then, that was like every kid's fantasy. Like, no parents, no consequences. You can just do whatever the hell you want. And that really played into the fantasy for Kevin, and I really did like it. You know, like, Kevin's like on his own, and he doesn't want to be with his family right now because his family's like, you know, his family was mean to him because he didn't get pizza.
I'll always remember, even as a kid, that scene when like his uncle like yells at him is like, "Look what you did, you little jerk!" Like, I was just like, "This is the biggest prick on the planet," and it's like, obviously that's what they played him up as, like the big asshole. But it's like, what kind of rotten parents does he have that like allows his uncle to talk to him like that?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
if I had kids and my brother spoke to my son that way, like I'd knock my brother out. I'd be like, you never speak to my kid that way.
Yeah,
You talk to your own kids that way. You never speak to my child in that tone. You're not his guardian. I make that decision.
yeah, and also, but also like I mean, like while his family, like the mom, I mean, like really, Catherine O'Hara did a very good job, and I think, um, I think half the movie was her like at the beginning she it seems like, oh my god, there's too many kids running around, like it doesn't seem like she'll think about Kevin, but the minute she realizes that Kevin is home alone, the way she that's really a mom's move. And that's what Chris Columbus captured. The way she just like goes home and like she stays in the airport, like she gives like her first class tickets, like to go home, and she's like, I need to be on this flight going home and all that, and like the fact that she feels like she's a horrible mother because like she she thought that Kevin didn't think of her, uh, or she didn't think of Kevin. That's amazing. I really like that. I mean, like Catherine O'Hara did a very good job, and I think um she was really convincing. I mean, it was really amazing to see that to see her role like that. I mean, like, wouldn't you agree? Or maybe,
Oh, easily. This movie is like, what's so good about it is the originality of it, the time period it came out in, and it's just it's so many things wrapped in one. It's like a kid's fantasy film, like you say, getting left home alone, giant house all to yourself. It's obviously a Christmas movie because it just screams Christmas all over the place. It's I still think it's one of like the funniest comedies ever. And it's massively like heartwarming, like you said, between the way Catherine O'Hara played the mom, with like the second she realizes on the airplane that Kevin was like back at home, and she was just in like panic mode the rest of the movie until she was able to get back home and step through the front door and see that Kevin was all right. It
yeah,
was just like mom of the year right there. I
yeah,
mean, show me a movie with like a better and it's like it can almost go to, I was gonna say show me a movie with like a better mom, but it's like, oh yeah, she didn't leave him at home. But it's like
no, but
when
like,
she realized what was going on, it was like it elevated her to the next level of
yeah,
like
I mean, like
an amazing parent.
the way she just like she realized that she was gone and that she had to like go home was like that's just perfect. And I think also a movie the what makes the movie besides Kevin and the mom's relationship are the wet bandits. I mean, you have Joe Pesci in this. I mean, like, and this is just like an appetizer. We're gonna see a lot more of Joe Pesci in this month. And he's I just realized while I was watching it, he's doing his absolute hardest not to curse.
You can see it. And it's like, I think I read something where it's like both of them, Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, were trying so hard not to curse in this movie. And it's like Joe Pesci shows it the most with his like, he's like swearing because it's like he's just come off of stuff like Goodfellas and Casino, where it's like he just swore like a sailor. And then we hit this, and it's like one swear word really got through. It was when Marv was like kicking his shoe through the dog door, and his shoe fell off. And it's like, if you listen real carefully, you can just hear him. He goes, shit, when he reaches in to grab his shoe. But it's like the two of them were trying so hard not to curse this whole movie.
My God, if Kevin faced the Joe Pesci from Goodfellas, then he would have died.
Oh,
right.
oh, he would have gone in there guns blazing. He would have just thrown a brick through a window and walked right in and gunned him down.
Oh my God. Oh. I can't wait to see Joe Pesci from Goodfellas. There's gonna be a lot to talk about him. But yeah, I mean, like Joe Pesci from here, like I mean, like it's nice to see him play like a more tame version, because like you always see Joe Pesci as like this guy like who's always cursing, like in like in Casino, and we talk about more Casino later this month. When he puts the guy's head in that thing, that crusher, then like fuck me, fuck you, fuck my mother, like, oh my god, dude, like, oh, it's insane.
It must have been, and it's funny because obviously neither of us can relate, but it's like, think of almost being a parent back then, like a dad who'd like watched Goodfellas and Casino. Or wait, no, I don't think Casino had come out yet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Goodfellas had, but
Goodfellas.
imagine seeing Joe Pesci in something like Goodfellas and then watching this, and it's like, wow, what a difference.
Yeah, that actor has range, man. Like Joe Pesci can like really like the way like from killing like so many guys in Goodfellas to being like this reserved dude is like really a change, but I love it. And I love the this movie has the greatest fake film in history ever.
Yes.
Angels with Filthy Souls, which I've said to you is like it could be a Batman comic. Batman, Angels with Filthy Souls.
It should
Or
be
something like that. I don't know. I mean,
it's like I want to see the whole movie.
Yeah, same.
Like watching it, it's like I want to watch Angels with Filthy Souls from beginning to end because it's like I want to know what else was going on.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, I want to see like what the hell was that guy doing? Like, get that keep the change, you filthy animal. Like that's amazing. And I love how like Kevin just confronts his fears. I mean, like, really, this is a movie about confronting your fears. I mean, like, first was the furnace, and then he eventually like oh, you know, I can actually be alone in the furnace. I don't have to be scared anymore.
I love how they did that scene. He's like building up his courage, and he's like, I'm not afraid anymore. He goes outside and he's announcing to the world, I'm not afraid anymore. And then his neighbor just walks up and stares at him. He screams right in the dude's face and just runs back inside. It's like, that's the humor and comedy of this movie that works so well. And it's like there's some comedy that like it feels like it's like stuck in the era that it was created in, but it's like Home Alone, the comedy in Home Alone in this story is just, it's absolutely timeless, even though obviously something like this could never happen nowadays. It's not possible with cell phones and stuff like that. It's not happening.
Some of this movie is really stuck in time. Like, if this happened in 2020, Kevin would have been rescued like that because, like, with the phones, like, oh my gosh, this kid, there's like all these vlogs and TikToks, like these kids like walking alone outside. Like, we should probably go ask him what's going on.
And the parents would just tell the cops, "You have our." That's another thing that cracked me up. It's like nowadays the parents would just like, "You have our permission to break the damn door down. Go in, get our kid, and put him somewhere till we get home."
Yeah. And I mean, like, and now we basically covered everything. I mean, like, now we're gonna get into like the brunt of like why this movie is so loved. The final act
with everyone
with traps. I mean, the traps are insane in this movie. I mean, I like the traps from Home Alone 2 better, but these are so funny.
And what I think is cool is it's like they didn't just introduce it. They've been building up the whole movie that Kevin is very creative. And it's, I think, like one of my favorite scenes is right at the beginning when the mom is telling the dad, I caught him in the garage with the glue gun. And the dad's like, you know, didn't we talk about this? And he said, he was like, I was making ornaments out of fish hooks. Now, for someone who's like 6 or 7 years old, I'd say that's pretty damn creative. Yeah. And what that scene did was it like set up that this is a creative kid, but it also set up like what's going on between him and his parents, that they are kind of at odds. He does his own thing, even though he's told you can't do it, which that's all kids. But it was a nice scene that did like a couple things for the characters of the movie. And like we said earlier, I think we missed it. The party where like the fake party or whatever, that built it. And then we get to this point where it's like creativity overload. Like, I don't know any kid who could have come up with
like there's setup because, you know, we hear it verbally and then we see it a bit with the party because like he put like the mannequins with the trains and he's like doing like this to make sure like, there's people. And then finally when the robbers like, there's really no one in there but the kid, go in, he makes the traps, and that's amazing. And I think honestly, like Kylo Ren probably would have like died like going into those traps. Honestly, like with all this Force bullshit, he probably would have been like he probably would have. I would want to see like he probably would get whacked in the head with a paint can like yes, perfect.
But I think we'll go deeper into it in the second one. Some of these traps here would have. I think maybe one or two of these traps would have killed these guys, but more than likely would have left like a lot more long-term lasting effects, like the burning of the blowtorch to the head. Marv definitely would have gotten tetanus, I'm sure, from the nail going through his foot.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, dude, that is like the nail going through the foot is the most cringe thing I've ever. I can watch almost any horror movie on the planet, but I still can barely watch Marv stepping on that nail.
Oh yeah, it's so like I can't even look at it. I also but like okay, so what was your favorite trap from the entire thing?
Oh, let's see. It would probably have to be the paint cans.
Oh, same. I love
The paint cans are just yeah, and it's got to be the paint cans. And this one's not really a trap. I just still think it's probably like the funniest part of the invasion and the traps has to be when Kevin's about to get away and like Marv grabs him and he's about to like get him, and Kevin at the last second grabs the tarantula that's just conveniently sitting on the stairs, and he just slowly lowers it down and sets it right on Marv's face, and Marv lets out like the best scream in all of movie history.
I got him.
It's also like for me my favorite has always been the paint cans, but I also love the blowtorch with Joe back. He's like in his face like
He just freezes as his head is burning up.
you mean you can argue that should have killed them, but like you can argue
Probably it would have done more than just like burn his hat off, because that's literally all it did was like burn his hat off and made him go bald.
but we can
It's
make
like, no, your head with a blowtorch like that, you would have like, you would need like skin grafts for your head. Your head would be.
you could argue that the snow was there, so like
I don't know. His whole head was on fire. But then again, they top it in the second one, which we'll get
okay,
to.
those traps in that movie should have killed them. They should have killed them, but we're gonna talk about that. So yeah, so basically man, it has some dark moments where like when Kevin ziplines and then Marv says maybe he committed suicide. Dude, that's a kid's movie.
I could not believe that they actually said that. Where'd he go? Maybe he committed suicide. I'm like, I remember as a kid, I asked my mom, I was like, what does that mean? And she's like, it doesn't mean anything.
Oh my god.
And then eventually when I like learned what it meant, I mean, because I'm saying like my mom didn't tell me this when I was like 5 or 6.
I'm sure.
So it's like she obviously doesn't want to explain to a 6-year-old what committing suicide means. But it's like eventually I learned it. I'm like, this is a kid's film. What's wrong with them? But yeah. I also love it that last shot, not even when the family comes home, when Kevin looks out the window and he sees that the old man next door reconciled with his son, and he like gets to actually like see his granddaughter in person and not watching her practice for the choir. Like that was just, and the way the music played, it was just, this is just such a heartwarming film.
Christmas spirit at its finest. I mean, like everyone's like the way it was filmed, and Chris Columbus did a really good job. Like everyone's like, okay, back to our business, and like, and Kevin's like, well, they're never gonna know that, never gonna know how great my time here alone was because like I defeated the robbers, and they're never gonna know that. But like maybe it didn't matter, and then he goes out and he sees that the old man is with his kid, and says, you know, something I did, you know, the advice I gave, it really helped, and that's what matters. And he smiles, and then like it ends with like the snow falling on the window, and that's it. I mean, like it's awesome, perfect Christmas movie. And now we get to a controversial sequel, really, Home Alone 2. Home Alone 2. Chad, what do you think of Home Alone 2, man?
It's fun. It's
You
fine.
really have to clip your disbelief suspension.
Oh, I mean, this is a cartoon world. This is not the
This
same
is-
world
yeah,
that the first
yeah,
movie
this is a-
took place in
This is
anymore.
really the same. Like, I
The
mean,
first
all the
one, they at
depth-
least. Oh yeah, the first one they at least I'd say covered all their bases pretty well. You know, the phones being out, that's why nobody can get in touch with Kevin at the house. The power being out. There was a lot with the first one that was explained away and forgivable. In this one,
Oh,
no,
way.
there was this massively felt like extremely rushed, and I almost feel like the fight that they had was not enough for Kevin to just say like, "Screw everyone, I'm going
Yeah,
to just
yeah.
walk around New York on my own." It's
Yeah, I
like,
mean, like,
no,
I mean, like in the first one. Like in the first one, it was, everyone was ganging up on him. Like, Kevin, you're such a disease, and like you can feel like, oh, I hate this family. But this one, like, Buzz just did a little joke, and Kevin was the one who escalated it, and he was the one who
his
punched Buzz.
in Kevin's defense, his parents were pricks on that one.
Yeah.
Like I like how stupid you have to be to see Buzz sitting there. Oh, I've learned from my ways. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah, like,
sorry.
oh,
I never
bullshit.
should have. I would have looked at Kevin and I like if I was the dad, I'd have been like, "Thank you for the apology." And then I could see Buzz being like, "Well, does he have to apologize?" I'd be like, "No, you humiliated him. He had every right to punch you in your bitch ass face."
Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, like, this movie really has a lot of like, you really have to think, okay, this is gonna be a dumb. Like, you have to put yourself in the mindset of like watching Transformers: Rangers of the Fallen. This is gonna be a really,
Yeah.
this is gonna be a really dumb, cheesy Christmas movie with
It is.
with like no respect for like its world building or sorry, like you're just
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, it's basically just the first one all over again. Just
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
different location, but not, there was nowhere near the amount of like thought put into it.
I mean, like, Chris Columbus does play into a different fantasy of like, okay, instead of being home alone, like another kid's fantasy is like being in a big city with a lot of money and a lot of cash and doing whatever the hell you want.
I want to know the messed up part though. I think you've told me you've been to New York also. Kevin wouldn't last 5 minutes walking around New York.
Oh yeah, Kevin would have died.
I've been to New York. It is, I've been there. It is not, I enjoyed it, but I was an adult when I went.
Yeah.
If you're a 10-year-old wandering around
Oh, you're
New
gonna
York
be
on your
sick.
own, you're done. You're not going to last 10 minutes. You're going to get grabbed into an alley.
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, like New York. I mean, like I remember going to New York, and I remember I had to be with my parents all the time. Like I could not leave their side because they were the ones looking at like, okay, while like going to the attractions, like they were the ones who would be like, okay, make sure like he's always like interlocked with my arm, and like even riding the subway, like I always had to be like within seeing distance because like I could get grabbed. Or my brother could get grabbed, you know, like one of those. And also the fact that New York's a pretty big fucking place. I mean,
Oh, the most contrived thing of all time.
New York's a pretty big fucking place. And like I remember like I was in New York and I remember I was in New York and it was the same time that the Met Ball 2017 was happening. And I remember they were announced that like Emma Watson was going to be part of like the Met Ball 2017. I was like, I remember telling my parents like, you know, maybe I'm going to see Emma Watson. Like, and then they're like, yeah, good luck with that. New York's a really big city, and then we have like you could spend a month here with Emma Watson in the same city, and you wouldn't see her. And like, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah, and
when I was there, it was the same thing. Me and some buddies were just hanging out in Times Square, and some guy comes up to us and he's like, hey, are you guys interested in going to a comedy club tonight? Do you have any plans? And we were like, hey, you know, can we have maybe, you know, we're going to walk around, we'll think about it. Because we're like, do we trust this guy? You know, some strange guy. And we said to him, like, hey, can we meet you back here in about half an hour?
Yeah.
And the guy straight up said to us, he's like, do you know how many people are in this city? He's like, after we part ways, you guys are never going to see me again.
Yeah. That's really what it means. I mean, like, New York's a big place. And Kevin ran into the Wet Bandits twice. Not once. Twice.
Such bullshit.
And you know the biggest contrivance and plot hole, and I shared this in Geek Squadron. It is Marv straight up tells Kevin, hey, we're robbing Duncan's toy chest at midnight at 12.
That was such
and
bad writing.
And he was recording it. So all he could do is like call the police and say, you know what? There are 2 robbers. Here's the recording. You take care of it. And it would have been done. He didn't have to actually be there. But Kevin, it just proves Kevin's a sociopath because he wanted to actually went down with the
I think he wanted to kill them because the traps in this movie, these were death traps. This was like something out of like Saw. Like you would die from some of these. Like, what is it? Marv gets electrocuted with Kevin cranked the voltage all the way up to the point where it's like that would have either killed you or like worse, like I'll put you in a coma maybe. Harry's covered in like gasoline, sticks his head in a toilet. The whole room goes up in flames.
Yeah. That shouldn't have just like made him like have a black face. His head should have been like cut clean in half.
Gone.
Like if imagine
what else? The giant bar, like they do the paint can thing again, but then it's like that giant
metal like bar,
pipe. That giant pipe that Kevin tosses over, and they fly backwards off the stairs through the hole in the floor and land. It's like broken bones, broken backs. Your skulls are probably crushed because getting hit by something like that at the force it was coming, you're dead. That's brain damage.
Or even the bricks, like more.
Oh, Dude, yes, I always forget about the bricks. That would have killed Marv. The height that brick came flying down, that's enough to kill you.
Or at least put you in a coma, not just like dizzy.
And instead, what's his name? Harry, get up, Marv. Get up, get up, get up. I'm like, your boy just got hit in the head with like 3 or 4 bricks. Give him a minute.
or even the kerosene. The kerosene is like when they drop and then like they fall, and then the paint can. The paint can on them. Multiple concussions, like right there.
These all like almost every trap, or like the giant like bookcase of the giant shelving units of paint cans that fall on Marv.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't just push those away and you're covered in paint. You're like, oh, gross. No, you've got broken bones. They've hit you in the head.
Even the tool chest coming on the stairs.
Oh, that would have killed you. If it had enough force to rip the door off its hinges.
The human body's not gonna survive. Like at the very least, the spine would have broken, but not
exactly. And that's why, like we said, this one is more of a cartoon as opposed to the first one.
It's a lot more cartoony. It's a lot more ridiculous. I mean, Captain.
I think. What did we say was the most ridiculous when we were talking about this off air? I think, didn't you say everything with the hotel?
Yeah, I mean, like everything with hotel. Like, I go to a hotel a lot this year because my mom brings me to her like work, and I stay there. And every time I check in, I have to always say, I'm with my mom. Here's her number. Talk to her, and they always have to confirm with her before I even check in the room. So the fact that I was like, yeah, well, sure, why not? Just take your credit card. We're not gonna even like think it's stolen, Yeah. Like there's no confirmation, nothing. Like, and then always like when my mom has to arrive, she has to first go to the lobby and sign that is my kid up there in the room that I'm staying in.
And even if people out there say something like, things were different back in the 90s, not at a hotel like he was staying at. No, maybe like a shitty like Red Roof Inn or Motel 9 will let a kid come in and use a credit card. Maybe not a hotel like this.
Not the Plaza Hotel. Not the Plaza Hotel at home.
Absolutely not.
My God, there's a lot of things we can actually pick apart. Like
Oh, we could easily, but I mean, I guess maybe we should turn it back to positivity because it's this movie does have some shit that really makes like the traps all make me laugh. I know we were just ripping them apart, but they are funny. And the sequel to one of the best movies never made, Angels with Filthier Souls.
I actually love angels with even filthier souls more than angels with filthy souls. Even though
I
they're
do
both
too. I do too, because he just kills that woman for no reason. And it's some of the best monologue ever when oh God, what's his name? Why did it drop out of my head? Tim Curry as the
Oh my
concierge.
gosh, yeah.
And that whole group is there. That is one of the best things of all
I'll
time.
give that is the funniest joke in both home movies.
It's hilarious.
That is the funniest joke. When they're all making like, I love you. And they even spitting the other one, Cheeks, Boney Bob, and like, who the hell is he talking about? And he says, Cliff, and then in the concierge, like, it's a lie. I still love it. And you know, to be fair, it does give like the objective of like, oh, Kevin really is in a big city because like, when he escapes from the hotel and from the wet bandits, like Joe Pesci has a point. Like, grown men will go to the park alone and they don't leave alive, and like yeah, and then like Kevin should probably died because like he would either been like kidnapped or like murdered by some freak in the Central Park.
And he almost did. There was the like homeless drug addict. There was those prostitutes. I'm actually shocked the homeless guy didn't grab him. I'm shocked all he did was like yell at him, like, "Watch it, kid!" or whatever. I'm like, no, he would have. This kid's wearing a nice jacket. He's got a big backpack. That homeless guy would have grabbed him,
robbed him. Like, if it wasn't for the lady,
it probably killed him.
If it wasn't for the lady who the bird lady, he would have died.
There was another scene right there with the bird lady when she threw the bird seed all over the wet bandits, and Marv let out the second most epic scream of all time.
That was awesome. I mean, it was really funny. I mean, like honestly, despite it being super cartoony, the traps were awesome. And I think, okay, what was your favorite?
Oh yeah.
I think for me it was the blowtorch. Like, and then like he puts his head, he dunks his head into it, and it just blows up. And like in all honesty, like when I first watched it, okay, it's like so like half of his head should just be gone, and it's like this half.
That's like the new Two-Face right there. My
Joe,
favorite.
Joe Pesci should have died.
Oh, they should have died multiple. I think almost everyone in this movie should have died multiple times.
Marv should have died from the bricks. Joe Pesci should have died from the
before he ever even made it in the house. My favorite trap has to be when Marv is getting electrocuted and Kevin's cranking up the voltage and suddenly he's like a skeleton screaming. Yeah. I always remember as a kid watching that. It's like, that was one of those laps that I had laughing so hard as a kid that it's like, I couldn't breathe. And of course, like this is like, my memory of this movie will always be like watching it at my grandparents' house with a bunch of my cousins over. And it was just like, all of us were laughing so hard and we would rewind the part with the traps multiple times, just keep rewatching it over and over. But yeah, when Marv got electrocuted, it was just, but it's like, even the bricks were hilarious because it's like, he's not expecting it. Just suddenly, doom, a brick comes flying down. Yep, death. Instant death, probably.
Yeah, instant death. At the velocity that brick was going, his head would have cracked open or something. and then go back to the ridiculous places. Like, when the mom and the parents finally arrive in New York and they're like, Kevin likes Christmas trees. So, like, they go to, like...
Oh, so stupid. Where did she find him again? Where did she conveniently find him?
Biggest place in New York with like no people whatsoever.
And what time? Okay, so let's see. They said they were robbing Duncan's toy store at midnight, right?
Yeah.
So what time is it now? Like 3:30, 4 in the morning?
Yeah.
When she finds him at the tree?
Yeah.
Oh, and something else that I always wondered about. So Kevin like knew that his uncle had that house that he used as his trap thing. What the hell kind of house was that? It was like a crack house.
That's what it was.
It was like destroyed. Why would anybody own a place? It's like, no way were they renovating that. It was demolished.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Kevin destroyed it even more.
Again, very, 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 very cartoony.
Yeah, and it feels so hard like they just tried to replicate the first one.
Yeah,
And it's like it just didn't work in so many scenes.
yeah, it really didn't. You really have to have a different mindset when going into Home Alone 2. You have to look at it like, okay, this is a movie where it is the absolute most ridiculous shit happening, but you can still enjoy it. Same with Revenge.
Yeah.
Like
I love watching both of them back to back. It's a blast. And it's like, to me, I know there's like 3 or 4 others, I think, and
yeah, for the sake of sanity, we will not cover them.
yeah, I thought 3 was really stupid. 4 is like hailed as like one of the worst movies of all time.
4 is unwatchable. Home Alone 4 is really bad.
4 is, if you haven't seen 4, just watch like reviewers online talk about it. You'll have a better time with that, because the movie itself is pure shit.
It's
and
really trash movie.
I think 5 was like the one with the ghosts or something. I don't remember. It was really stupid.
I know there was a 5.
Yeah, it's really stupid. Like they tried to incorporate like more technology into it. It was really bad. But yeah, I mean, 1 and 2 are really the only ones that I'll ever watch.
Yeah, same. I watched 4 once. I will never watch 4 again.
I'm so sorry you had to watch 4. It was shit.
So bad. Home Alone 3 was like bad, but like at least there are like some parts I can watch it. And even
it was I just remember the advertising for 3 when I was younger, and they're just like, oh, it's not Kevin this time. And I remember like all my friends were like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why are they making it then? And it's like as an adult, I can see it like, well, yeah, how many times is the same kid gonna get left home alone? But at the same time, it's like, just not everything needs a sequel. Not everything needs a million sequels.
Yeah. I cannot anymore. I'm glad, like, you know, Home Alone for me, it's a duology. And starts with 1, ends with 2.
Yep.
That's it. No more.
There is no more. Not in my eyes.
Not in my eyes. All right. So basically, that's it. That's basically it. We covered the first Home Alone, and then that's the Christmas part. For the crime on the weekend, we'll be covering the Consigliere and the very awesome Corleone family. So get ready for the Godfather Part 1 and Part 2.
It's gonna be great. I'm excited.
All right. So thank you, guys. Santino signing off. Chad.
I'm Chad. Thanks for listening, guys. Talk to you soon.